Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and I have another alumni from Friday the 13th on the phone, and he played Luke in Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Hey Mike, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. So I have a couple questions. The first one I have for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
You know, I grew up in a family that was very involved in the industry. My grandfather had won an Oscar as a screenwriter, and lots of people in my family had been involved. And I was exposed to a lot of film and theater at a very very young age. And for whatever reason, I remember watching a Charlie Chaplin movie when I was about 5 or 6, and just sort of being enamored of him and what he. I was crying and laughing at the same time, the way Chaplin did, and I just decided that's what I wanted to do. I can't really describe it, but from that point on, I sort of chased it. I did a bunch of plays and at school, and I did summer programs and summer stock and all kinds of stuff in college. And then when I graduated college, I went out to L.A. and just started to find my way in. In fact,
Awesome.
Friday the 13th, it was one of my earliest jobs.
Awesome. So speaking of Jason Goes to Hell, how was your audition for it?
Great question. So the casting director, David Giella, was in my acting class. Unlike most casting directors, he was really interested in the actor's process and how to talk to actors and what that work is all about. It's a very mysterious thing, and people don't really understand. I think sometimes how actors work or how to talk to them or whatever. And he was really taking a deep dive into this intense acting class, and I was in the class, and Michelle Clunie was in the class, and so was Catherine Atwood. And so at some point in the process, I think they had finished the movie or close to
Right.
it, finished shooting the script, and they got notes that they needed another death scene, sexy death scene maybe or something. I forget. You'll have to ask Adam exactly what the assignment was. But I remember I got a call from David Giella saying, "Do you want to do you want to audition for this thing?" And along with your friends in class. And so we all did. And it was very warm because David's a great guy, and we knew him from class, and it was it was one of those easy auditions where you walk in and they're already fans, which is a great feeling.
Right.
And I remember I read with Michelle, and so we knew each other pretty well at that point. And it was one of those dream processes because we all knew each other, and we knew that they were rooting for us, so it
Right.
felt great.
Awesome. So what was your most memorable moment while filming Jason Goes to Hell?
The most memorable moment. There's a lot of really fun memories from that show, but even though it was so long ago, but certainly the most memorable would have to be the moment when when you have to take off your robe and drop your clothes, and there's a bunch of crew members around, and it's freezing, and it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and
Right.
having to get naked on a set, that was really a deal. That
Right.
wasn't easy. That was hard. Although, because Michelle and I knew each other well and we were really close, we sort of provided a nice safety net for one another. And I remember taking care of her, which or trying to make her feel more comfortable being
Right.
the young woman,
Right.
which immediately made me less self-conscious about myself and made me sort of focus on something else other than the fact that I'm standing there naked.
Exactly. So how was like the death scene of Michelle, who played Deborah in the film? How was that prepped and filmed?
They made an amazing bunch of models of Michelle's body. She had to
Mm-hmm.
be impaled and then sort of torn apart, I think.
Right.
And they made a bunch of models of her, prosthetics of her body. And so, the part where we're acting and having fun, she and I were cool with each other, we trusted each other, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a pretty nice process in that sense. But when she had to be killed, it was very technical. There was a lot of different, different machinations of different bodies on top of me, and at what point in the death process are we now? Where's the blood coming? I remember they were shooting blood that was in it, some sort of like fire extinguisher. It looked like it's like a big hose or something, and they were just shooting it in my face, and I was just screaming. So I remember the gory details the best. I guess that was pretty. That was a pretty intense moment where you're screaming and they're shooting blood at you, and meanwhile the girl you're making love with is now torn open. It was
Right.
pretty intense.
So what was Adam Marcus like as a director?
Oh, Adam was amazing. Adam was young like us, and I think it was his first big thing, and it was my first film, and I think it was his directorial debut. He and I are still friends. He's just a wonderful guy. He made things so warm and easy. Especially when you have to get naked on a set and be killed and all kinds of stuff. It's very easy to step on people's toes and not take care of people and worry more about the clock or the shot or whatever than feelings. And he was very much about taking care of us and making sure we felt okay. He felt like one of us. He felt like one of the gang, and he was very funny and warm and made sure that there was only people on set that needed to be there. And and we subsequently became friends, and we still talk now. I think awesome. I just saw him right before COVID started up. We had a breakfast together.
Awesome.
But he's a really wonderful guy. He's got a bunch of new projects that he's working on too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I interviewed him. I think he was my second longest interview I had at a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, he's a talker.
Yep.
He's definitely a talker.
I believe the first question was maybe 40 minutes. which was great. It was really great.
It was all about the love of the game for him. He was such a fan going in.
Right.
I was too. I remember watching these movies growing up. I was the perfect age when the first one came out. It was a huge moment for all of us. We kept watching it again and again. So we were all fans of it. We had a blast doing it.
That's awesome. And it's funny because right now there's a Friday the 13th marathon on MTV too. So I had that on right before the interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what was the best part about filming Jason Goes to Hell, and what was the worst?
There was nothing really bad about it. I mean, I guess the worst part about it is they still have I don't know, people send me things on the internet or gifts or whatever that are compromising and embarrassing and stuff. So I take it with a grain of salt. I was 23, I think. So
right.
It was what it was. I mean, there was nothing bad about the shoot. It was totally exciting. The best part about it was, I remember when it opened and the premiere, and people were all excited about it. It had done really well, and it was part 9, I think. So they weren't sure how much longer the franchise could last. It wasn't quite like retro as it is now, and sort of classic. It was still kind of hanging on at that point, I think. And they weren't sure if they were running it into the ground or if they were doing something great. And the response, making it was so much fun, and friendships were, and just the fun of the game and just being a part of this whole thing. And then when it came out, I remember it was really fun. The premiere was a blast, and then a lot of people were really into it and stopping on the street. That was a blast. That's
awesome. So we know that your character was killed in an off-screen death scene. So do you know how your character was actually killed off? And if not, what way would you like to have seen your character get killed if you had the pencil?
Yes, I was really disappointed that they decided in the end. I think they ran out of time and money. They spent a lot of money and time on Michelle's death, which was memorable. But I think once that had happened, they were like, well, we can't top that, so we'll hear it. But I know that Richard Grant, who was playing Jason at that moment, I guess Jason was sort of, I mean, spoiler alert, but he was inhabiting other bodies, which was a real departure for the series, I think.
Right.
Anyway, Richard Grant, who's also a friend of mine, he was playing Jason. He was possessed by Jason at that point, and so the idea was, after he kills Michelle and I'm screaming, he comes over and he stomps my head with his boot.
Oh, okay.
He's a very large man.
Right.
And I'm lying there naked on the bottom of a tent, and he's like, I don't know, he's like 6'8", or he's just an enormous, larger than life individual. And so the idea was he would crush my head, but I was like, well, let's build a head and let's see it. Let me play that. Let's do that. But they were, I think it was too much, too late, and they had to go with the off-screen death.
Right. And the last question I actually got for you is, do you have any projects, websites, or social media accounts that you'd like to promote to our listeners?
Well, I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm actually writing a series for James Patterson, which is going to be next year, but there's no reason to promote that right now. But I do have a show called Rabbi Mike that I just raised money to go shoot. And once the COVID is sort of lets up a little bit, we're able to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot that pilot, and at that point, I'll certainly be publicizing that through you guys.
Right. Awesome. So, and also anybody can look up your IMDb page, and they can see also whatever you're up for, after this interview airs, and they can see everything that you have coming up as well. So that'd be great.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of stuff on their IMDb Michael B. Silver, and I also have an Instagram, Michael B. Silver, but I'm not big on the social media. I'm trying to get more into it. My kid is trying to pull me into it a little more, but I don't know. Especially these days, it just feels like there's not a lot on there that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thank you, Michael, for your time.
All right, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Keep watching.
Yeah, definitely. Not a problem. You have a good rest of your day and stay safe.
All right, dude.
All right.
Thanks so much. Be
Yep.
safe.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.